Step into a world of romance and mystery with Tamora Rose, where candlelight flickers against ancient stone walls, where whispered words linger long after they're spoken, and where love is never accidental, only inevitable. There's a moment in every great romance that feels almost sacred. The instant when two lives intersect for the first time. It may be fleeting, it may be chaotic, it may even be uncomfortable, but it matters. That first meeting is not simply an introduction. It is the spark that sets everything else in motion. And for readers, that moment is unforgettable. It's where curiosity ignites, where tension begins to coil beneath the surface, where something unspoken passes between two people who don't yet understand what they are to each other, but feel it anyway. When crafted well, that first encounter becomes more than a scene. It becomes the heartbeat of the entire story. In romance, how your characters meet shapes everything that follows. Long before declarations of love or moments of intimacy, readers are watching for something far more subtle. Connection. Not perfection, not instant devotion, but connection. That first meeting tells us who these characters are when they are unguarded, surprised, or thrown off balance. It reveals their instincts, their defenses, their contradictions. Is one careful while the other is reckless? Is one guarded while the other is disarmingly open? Do they clash immediately, or do they circle each other with quiet intrigue? These questions don't need to be answered outright. In fact, they shouldn't be. The beauty of the first meeting lies in what it suggests, not in what it confirms. Readers don't need certainty yet. They need possibility. At the heart of every unforgettable first meeting are three essential elements: contrast, emotion, and a hint of what's to come. Contrast is often what draws two characters together in the first place. Opposites don't just attract, they create friction, curiosity, and even tension. Imagine a composed noblewoman, bound by duty and expectation, suddenly confronted by someone who refuses to follow any rules at all. Or a rational mind encountering something, or someone, that defies explanation entirely. These differences don't just define the characters, they give the meeting energy. Because when two people see the world differently, every interaction becomes charged with meaning. Emotion is what makes the moment come alive. And here's the truth that often surprises writers, that emotion doesn't have to be love. In fact, it's often stronger when it isn't. Think irritation, fascination, suspicion, amusement, maybe outright hostility. What matters is that something shifts, that something inside one or both characters reacts in a way they didn't expect. Readers don't fall in love with calm introductions. They fall in love with moments that feel alive, moments where something begins, even if the characters themselves don't recognize it yet. And then there's foreshadowing, the quiet thread that ties the beginning to the end. A first meeting should never feel random. It should feel like the opening note of a melody that will echo through the entire story. If the romance is about healing, perhaps one character quite literally steadies the other. If it's about deception, perhaps their first exchange is built on a misunderstanding, or even a lie. These details don't need to be obvious. In fact, they're more powerful when they aren't. Because when readers look back, they should see that everything was there from the start. Setting, too, plays a powerful role in shaping that first encounter. A glittering ballroom carries expectations and rules and silent judgments. Every glance is observed, every word is measured. A storm-soaked road feels entirely different. It's raw, unpredictable, stripped of pretense. And in historical or paranormal romance, setting becomes even more important. A candlelit library filled with forbidden texts. A fog-covered moor where something unseen lingers just beyond sight. A war-torn field where survival matters more than status. The environment doesn't just frame the meeting, it influences it. It can place characters out of their comfort zones, force them into vulnerability, reveal truths they might otherwise hide. And when setting, emotion, and character collide in the right way, the result feels almost cinematic, as though the world itself has paused to witness what's happening. Then comes dialogue. The first words exchanged between two characters can carry far more weight than they appear to on the surface. A simple line can hold challenge, intrigue, even attraction, if it's written with intention. Dialogue in a first meeting should never feel flat. It should move. It should shift. It should dance just slightly out of step with what's being said aloud. A polite exchange can mask curiosity. A sharp remark can hide fascination. A refusal can feel like an invitation. And often, it's what remains unsaid that lingers the longest. Because beneath the words, there's always something else. One of the most powerful choices a writer can make is to allow imperfection into that first meeting. It's tempting to create something flawless. A perfect introduction, a seamless interaction, an immediate sense of harmony. But that isn't what feels real. And more importantly, that's not what creates tension. Maybe one misjudges the other. Maybe pride gets in the way. Maybe circumstances force them into conflict before they've had a chance to understand each other at all. These imperfections don't weaken the moment. They strengthen it. Because they give the characters somewhere to go. They create space for growth, for realization, for transformation. And they make readers ache for the moment when everything finally falls into place. Of course, no discussion of first meetings would be complete without acknowledging the familiar patterns that readers love. Enemies to lovers. Forbidden attraction. Love at first sight. These aren't limitations, they're tools. The key isn't to avoid them. The key is to make them feel fresh. If your characters begin as enemies, let there be something beneath the conflict. A flicker of recognition. A moment of reluctant admiration. If it's love at first sight, give that feeling weight, and maybe resistance. Let the characters question it, fight it, misunderstand it, because chemistry isn't about instant perfection. It's about reaction. It's about the way one person disrupts another's carefully ordered world, even if only for a moment. And perhaps most importantly, a truly powerful first meeting doesn't end when the scene does. It echoes or it lingers. It finds its way back into the story in quiet, meaningful ways. A line spoken in passing returns later with new meaning. A gesture repeated under different circumstances carries emotional weight. A glance that once held tension becomes something softer, deeper, undeniable. These echoes remind readers that what began as a single moment was never small. It was the beginning of everything. And by the time the story reaches its end, that first meeting should feel transformed, not forgotten. Because that is the real magic of romance. Not just the declarations or the final resolution, but the journey from that first moment to everything that follows. As a writer, you are not simply introducing two characters. You are creating the instant where possibility begins, where fate takes its first breath, where readers, knowingly or not, begin to fall in love. That's it for today. Tell me about your favorite first meeting or the kind of love you like to read most. Until we meet again, may your days be filled with passion and just a touch of magic.